Alright, so I'm going to grace you all with my fantastic art skills and teach you all about Mexico in the form of this really cool Draw My Life video. In such a way that is hopefully informative and interesting. So, here goes. Mexico, which is officially known to its people as Los Estados Unidos Mexicanos, or the United Mexican States, is a North American country located just below the United States. Their flag has three vertical stripes, a green one, a white one, and a red one with their coat of arms pictured on the white stripe. Their coat of arms is an eagle and a serpent, which I can't really draw that well, but those were both important Aztec symbols. The country has an area of about 1,972,550 square kilometers, which is about 20% of Canada's area. There's an estimated population of about 120 million people in Mexico, which is almost 4 times the population of Canada. Most of these people are mestizo with a mix of native and Spanish heritage, and they speak Spanish, although there are a lot of other native tongues spoken throughout the country. It's the most populous Spanish-speaking country in the world. It's divided into 31 states, and run by El Presidente, who is currently Enrique Peña Nieto. Each president serves for about 6 years, and they govern much like the United States under a certain political party, with a legislature, Senate, Congress, and cabinet, plus there are 11 Supreme Court judges. It's actually a democratic country. The peace is kept in Mexico by their military, which consists of an army, navy, and an air force. This military has remained peaceful in all wars except World War II. Their streets are protected by Los Federales and El Secretaría de Seguridad Pública. Most Mexican inhabitants actually don't trust these guys because they witness a lot of abuse of power and corruption. A really cool thing about Mexico is that it was once home to the oldest civilizations in the Americas. The Aztecs and the Mayans are famous for their skills in astronomy and apparently calendars, and their enormous pyramids that they built, which were often used to make giant, insane sacrifices to the sun gods that they worship. Actually, the Aztecs, some of their pyramids saw 10 to 20,000 sacrifices a year to these gods. In the early 1500s, Spanish conquistadors, led by Hernán Cortés, invaded and colonized Mexico. They defeated the Aztecs, who held the greatest power in the country at the time, with help from rival tribes which they oppressed. Native Mexican tribes saw the Spaniards as gods because they came riding horses and carrying guns, some things which they had really never seen before. The Spanish dominated the Mexican people, taking their land and their resources and their riches, enslaving these people and abusing them in the manner of most early European colonization efforts. Criollos, or better known as white people, were socially favored, and the mestizo native people were abused and exploited by them. In 1810, the Mexican people declared independence from Spain. The country remained in a state of unrest until the Social Revolution and Civil War in 1910. Along with automobiles and silver, one of Mexico's biggest exports has always been oil. In the 1980s, oil prices suffered a huge hit, and they dropped considerably. It ended up being a horrible economic downfall for the country, which had just borrowed a whole bunch of money to augment its oil industry. Today, $1 Canadian is equal to about 12 Mexican pesos. The country's minimum wage ranges from about 55 to 58 pesos an hour, which is about $4.50 to $4.80 an hour Canadian dollars. The average urban income is about $26,000 a year, and the average rural income is only about $8,000 a year. 21% of the Mexican population receives about half of the median income, and industry is mainly concentrated in Mexico City, which has one of the densest populations in the world. Rural communities are greatly isolated by the mountain ranges, which make travel, communication, and development in these parts of the country very difficult. About 46% of the Mexican population live in extreme to moderate poverty, which is about 52 million people. And Mexico has the second highest degree of economic disparity in the world. That basically means that there's a ridiculously huge gap between the rich and the poor. The country's shops are generally open from 9 in the morning till 7 in the evening, with a siesta during the hottest part of the day, where everything's closed up. The students take many of the same classes we do in Canada, and attendance in school is both free and mandatory while the students are between 6 and 15 years of age. After that, the students may choose to go to preparatoria, an equivalent to grades 10 to 12, and later to universidad. The students go to school in the mornings and late afternoon, with a break or siesta during the hottest part of the day. Mexico has one of the highest literacy rates among adults, which is about 90%. Football, bullfighting, and mariachi music are popular in Mexican culture, and the machismo or male-dominated attitude is still very, very strong. It is the 8th most visited country in the world, with destinations like Cancun and Acapulco, which are popular on spring breaks. So, eso es todo. Bienvenidos a México.